everybody. It's Georgia Weedman, author of Penetration Testing, a hands-on introduction to hacking, and your instructor for this accompanying lab. So this time we're going to take a look at pivoting yet again, but we're going to pivot when we don't have the kinds of privileges that we've seen in the previous two. This time we're going to look at getting access to a web application and seeing what we can do to pivot in that case. Alright, so, as usual, IP header, in map our target. It's HTTP in MySQL. Let's go see what's on the HTTP page. Can't copy paste like that. .3. It's the Wolf CMS. We saw this guy already. Everything that we're seeing in post-exploitation, we've seen already. We're not finding any new vulnerabilities at this point. So, I won't go over, how we find the vulnerability. Anyway, we do have a user login for this one. Robert has a bad password. Password 1 is not a good password. Do not use passwords like that, Robert. And so, if we remember from before, if we go to question mark and then admin, it does have the admin login. So log in as Robert with those credentials. Give it a second to work itself out here. Come on, Robert, you can do it. I don't know why I complain. This lab is so fast. Nothing I've ever done, with online labs, has ever been nearly as fast as this. Anyway, alright, so if we go over to files, and we can upload a file, and, we saw in some previous ones, we can use MSF Venom and make a Metasploit with it, or we can use the web shells that are built into Kali, or you could always write your own, but... So if we go to user share and then web shells. I went too far. And PHP. I think in the other one I showed you simple backdoor. We can do PHP backdoor. Upload it. Remember, it does go to the folder public. That was, I think, something that got me stuck for a second when I did the actual exploitation video of this. So if we go to public and php-backdoor.php, we can run commands from here. Who am I? That's not how you spell who am I. Who am I? We are www data, so that it's just, the web user. We don't have a ton of privileges. Meterpreter, routing and stuff like that, it's just not gonna happen. So, we're kind of can we do anything at this point? But if we do an IP adder, we do see, this is the IP address we've been attacking, and it does indeed, as expected in a pivoting lab, have a second interface. But since we don't really have the privileges to auto route or anything like that with Metasploit, if we did hook this up to Metasploit, with an MSF Venom or a handler or something like that, we wouldn't be able to do, Meterpreter auto route. So luckily, people in the InfoSec community do really cool stuff. So, we're going to use a tool called, I'm not entirely sure. Because my name is Georgia, all I can see when I see that name is ReGeorge. So that's probably not even how you say it. But I'm going to call it ReGeorge because I'm vain that way. And that's basically my name. So basically what this is, so this is GitHub. If you're not familiar with GitHub, you should be familiar with GitHub. A lot of really great code is on there. And so basically this is a kind of web server upload thing that it'll create a SOC proxy through the web server, so we can upload it to the web server, hook up to it with the back end of ReGeorge, which we'll do, and that will allow us to actually use the web server, even though we've got limited privileges, as a proxy into that other network. So don't lose hope if you're not you're in a Metasploit free world, or you just don't have the privileges you want, something like this can actually really help. So let's take a look at it. And I apologize to the author if ReGeorge is not actually what you call it, because it's ReGeorge today, because that's my name. Wouldn't it be cool if they named it that because of me? 6 years, there's no way 6 years ago anybody was doing that. Because my book hadn't even come out yet. Nobody knew I existed. Anyway, so what we want to do is, all right, I want to make sure I have the place we're going. And so I actually want to go upload another file. So if we go back to our upload page, and ReGeorge is not on Kali by default, which, I don't know why. But we do have it on the desktop on this machine for tools. So if you go to desktop and tools, they probably just cloned it out of the GitHub. So we go to ReGeorge, and we want to do it's got different tunnels. So much like the web shells, it just has tunnels to create the proxy. And so we want PHP, since this is a PHP app. So we want tunnel.php. We want to upload that. And then, all right, so basically we've got our backdoor/tunnel here on the web server running as www data. So not super privileged, but it's there and we can access it. So pretty cool in and of itself. All right, and then if basically we need to hook up, the other side to it so it can talk to it. I'll just go ahead and clear this. So if we cd to desktop and tools and ReGeorge. So basically what we want to do is run the ReGeorge socks proxy, which is a Python script. So the .py, I write most of my stuff in Python, so Python's a good language to know. Python ReGeorge socks proxy.py. I'm sure there's help. Yeah. So help for all the stuff you don't know, but I'll never remember it anyway. So the port is just -p. Like the other ones, we are going to use proxy chains. The default for proxy chains, the default port is 9050. So, you could just as easily, I guess, change proxy chains port to something else, but why not just do that here? And -u, I don't know if that stands for upload or whatnot, but basically you just give it, and this is where I get stuck because I need 2 IP addresses at once. Whatever, I'll come back to it. So basically we need to tell it where to go. That went horribly wrong. So tell it where that tunnel is. So it's in public and it's called tunnel.php. So basically we're telling it, we want to hook up to this tunnel and we want to run the proxy on port 9050, so it'll be the default for proxy chains. And let's send that on. And it says checking if it's ready. Hopefully I didn't destroy it somehow. Oh, look, of course I did. Look at that. It's got double die. Stop. There we go. Okay. Obviously, you can't say http:// twice. Okay, now it says all seems fine. So it should be hooked up to that proxy now. The PHP page, that tunnel that we hooked up. So I'm just going to open another terminal here. And, well, now I need that IP address again. So double the IP addresses, double the fun, public, PHP, backdoor.php. Do an IP adder here just to get my address back. I mean, I should have put them in a text file or something. So I just want to grab this guy again because that's our target. Well, our target's .3, but you know what I mean. So then if we do a proxy chains and then in map, remember, turn off ping. And our .3, and this should route it through our, web proxy, if you will. And again, things are going to be slightly slower because they have to wander across multiple locations. And we do see that it is SSH again. So just like in the last one, you can run the Hydra through it. Like last time, because I don't want to sit here for 10 minutes and have to tell you dumb stories, I'll just, I did put the correct password on my desktop just so I had it. So Hydra-L for user-P and passwords.txt, and then SSH and our target. And once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. So, I mean, the main difference here is that, we're using a different proxy and we're able to do it through, a web server. You probably, in the modern day that, the way things are, web apps are really big. You're going to have a lot more web app stuff than you're necessarily going to find. Certainly you will. I find them all the time. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, how it even says SSH configuration, it can kill stuff, make it slow. But yeah, so definitely knowing how, it doesn't always just have to be Metasploit based. The Metasploit is awesome. Being able to do it, as a web user with limited privileges is pretty awesome as well. We can now log in with it. The main thing is we just need to keep putting proxy chains in front. So SSH root at .3, yes, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, boom, and then cat flag.txt. So yeah, again, main thing, there are other ways to do this besides Metasploit, and even if we don't have a ton of privileges, even if we're just, a web user and we're able to upload stuff, we still may be able to pivot onto other interesting things. Of course, if your box that you've exploited does not have a second network, then, all of this is for naught, but, dual homed stuff definitely does exist. So, always when you get on a box, that should be one of the things that you check is, run your IP adder on there and see if there are potentially other places you might be able to go. So that's all for our pivoting, and I will see you guys next time, and I think we do persistence next.